My friends, today we've got our hands on the Tamron 20-40 F2.8 right here, and this might just be the best walk-around lens that there is. It is incredibly versatile, and I wanted to share my first impressions, my first thoughts of just using this lens for a few days now with you. As you can see, it's just a fantastic size. The weight is just incredible, around 365 grams, if I do remember correctly, well under a pound. And it does extend as you zoom, but just a little bit, about a centimeter. There's a few things to note with this lens that you might want to be aware of. Of course, it does extend as you zoom, but it actually starts at 40 millimeters, and as you zoom in to 20, then it extends. So it's kind of a backwards engineering type thing here that we don't see too often. It doesn't really make a difference for me, just it's gonna take a bit of getting used to. You're starting at 40 and then you're gonna zoom out to 20. So kind of interesting. It does take advantage of this little USB port here. So you can get into Tamron's utility software and customize things, but it doesn't have a focus set button. The customizable focus set button on this lens, it lacks, which is a little bit frustrating for me because I love that new addition in most of Tamron's newer lenses. So that's a bit questionable, but if you actually look at the design of this lens, there's really nowhere that they could have put it. They might have been able to squeeze like a tiny version of it, but they would have had to make the lens bigger, I think. So give and take, do you want the tiny form factor or do you want all the bells and whistles? It's really not hard on these days to get into Sony's cameras, hit that function button and make your adjustment to manual automatic focus or what have you, but you can get in there and customize this lens to exactly how you want it to perform through manual focus, linear performance or not, things like that. So this thing is, yeah, they've done it again. I think this is a lot smaller than I thought it was gonna be, especially the width for a 20 millimeter lens. Optically, we're gonna get into that. I'm not gonna go into too much detail here. I'll throw up some of my test photos so you can see, you know, this thing is adequate and it does live up to Tamron's other lenses these days. It performs really, really well so far in my experience. The autofocus is lightning fast, of course, as you'd expect. And in terms of size compared to other lenses, well, this is my Sony 16-35 f4, much heavier. And as you can see here, even compared to that, it's way smaller and definitely a lot lighter. And yeah, I don't have any comparables at the moment, unfortunately, like the 17-28 or the 20 millimeter from Sony. But as you can see here, compared to the 50-400, it's in a world of different size and weight. Like this thing is really cool, really flexible, but this guy is just on another level in terms of flexibility for, you know, your walk around lens. I think this is gonna be a great lens for people, again, for travel, for if you have any injuries, shoulder injuries, or you just want something to throw on and cover a lot of bases. I think this lens is gonna be just fantastic. A constant fast f2.8 is a really, really nice thing to have. It's gonna perform great in low light. Yeah, what else can I say? It's weather sealed, it lives up to the build and the quality that you expect of all the other Tamron lenses these days. And I think it's gonna come in at about $799 US. And we're gonna have to get into the performance in my full in-depth review to see if it's gonna live up to that, but that's a really good price as far as what you get. So for me personally, I really love the size of this lens and the versatility. It's really nice to be able to get out to 40, which is a really natural looking focal length. And 20 is just a really nice happy medium. It's not super ultra wide, but then again, from my initial tests here, it doesn't seem to have a ton of distortion. So we're gonna have to get in and look at the nitty gritty, of course, in the full in-depth review. So keep an eye out for that, guys. Now for video, I think it's gonna be a huge hit. It's gonna be great on a gimbal or handheld because of its size and weight. The autofocus is more than adequate. The manual focus performance that I've seen so far is pretty good. And it's just a great versatile focal length in general. And it's gonna be just a fantastic walk around lens. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's leave it at that. That's my first thoughts of this lens. Let me know what you think down in the comments, guys. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.